welcome to today's session wherein we shall discuss about gut health and its connection with cancer. I'm Prachi, Head Nutritionist and Lifestyle Expert and Head of Cancer Vertical with Team Lead. To begin with, let us break it down to basics. What do you mean when I say gut health? It is about your digestive system, your digestion. Is it a smooth process for you, or do you face, digestive issues like frequent acidity, constipation, belching, bloating, flatulence, and so on, which is a sign you need to work on fixing your digestion, that is your gut health. Now coming to cancer. It is definitely multifactorial, but majorly it boils down to factors related to your own immunity and inflammation. Anything, including poor lifestyle habits, which affect immunity or lead to inflammation chronically, can make one more susceptible to gene mutations and thus cancer. Now, let us understand how certain, gut or digestive issues can increase the risk of having cancer. The first and foremost being chronic constipation. We have had so many clients with cancer who had a common link of having chronic constipation and having various cancers right from colon to breast to lymph node cancers. Now, why is constipation such a major concern? For that, let us imagine what happens in case of chronic constipation. All of the waste which should ideally be thrown out of the body regularly through stools, they get accumulated and stored in the gut, due to which the toxic wastes and gases are then reabsorbed in the body and get back into a circulation, which in turn increases inflammation and toxicity in the body. Also, the other aspect is normally excess estrogen hormone is excreted out of the system through stools. But in case of constipation, it is taken back into circulation, which can in fact make women more susceptible to estrogen receptor positive, that is, ER positive breast cancer, or even a relapse if not fixed in time. So you see how constipation, which is, not if not taken as a serious concern, can in fact lead to something as chronic, as major as cancer. I know so many people who just take some laxatives thinking that it is treating their constipation issue. But please understand, it is just a temporary fix. You need to first work on the root cause, which could be as simple as correcting your water intake or fiber intake. In fact, some have a habit of if they are busy with work in a meeting or with some kind of commitment, they just ignore their nature's call, thinking that, oh, let me first finish my work and then I'll visit the loo later. But please understand, by doing this, you are actually playing with your health majorly, helping to, in fact, put the toxins back into the system and thus increasing the risk of something as major as cancer. Therefore, we need to fix it as soon as possible. Another gut issue which has a link with cancer is chronic acidity. Excessive acidity can increase inflammation in the body, and chronic inflammation in turn favors growth of cancer cells. Also, too much of acidity depletes the nutrients in the body and thus can cause, deficiencies, weakening our immunity. What do most people do to deal with acidity? Pop in antacids, right? I have come across many who just pop an antacid for acidity and heartburn, thinking it is helping them to cure acidity. But in reality, it is just giving you symptomatic relief. Now, antacid, let us understand it chemically. It has magnesium to basically neutralize the acid. But if it only had magnesium in it, it can cause diarrhea, and hence an antacid. In an antacid, magnesium is always balanced with mostly aluminium. But aluminium can in fact lead to constipation. So you see, to fix one problem, you are inviting other issues as well. Also, chronic and excessive use of antacids can actually lower the stomach acid production, in the long run, which again can cause indigestion because certain amount of acid secretion is required to digest the food that we eat. Hence, it is extremely important to first find the root cause and work on the same. Now, what can be the root cause for acidity? Having too much of junk and processed food, too much of refined white sugar intake in either direct or indirect form, like from products like cakes, aerated drinks, etc. Packaged foods loaded with preservatives, additives like MSG, and too much of salt and refined white sugar. Then binge drinking, smoking, too much of tea and coffee, almost like more than 4, 5, even 10 cups a day. Or as simple as leaving longer meal gaps, eating food too fast, and not chewing well. Having a sedentary lifestyle, lack of water intake, or even chronic stress and anxiety, all of this can increase acidity. So we need to first identify what is the root cause for you and work on it accordingly. Of course, if you need to take an antacid, do it, but under medical supervision. But parallelly, you must take care of the lifestyle changes as well to combat acidity. The next factor, with respect to gut health, which is linked to cancer, is gut dysbiosis. Now, there are billions and trillions of both good and bad bacteria in our gut, in our digestive system. And a lot of our health issues, right from poor gut health, indigestion, bloating, etc., occurs when the ratio of these bad bacteria overpowers that of good bacteria in our gut. And for a healthy gut, it is always desirable for the good gut bacteria to overpower. These good gut microbes are called probiotics, while the prebiotics are mainly specific, they're specific type of dietary fiber that feed the probiotics in the gut. For example, onions, garlics, leeks, oats, and so on. Now, when this ratio of good to bad bacteria is hampered, wherein the bad bacteria overpower, is when you have digestion issues, and not just that, but that can lead to inflammation and thus impact immunity, which can increase the risk of inflammatory diseases like cancer. Certain lifestyle habits like eating junk frequently, more of aerated drinks, more of refined white sugar and processed food feed bacteria, bad bacteria, and thus affect the ratio. Hence, we need to be watchful of the same. The next factor to ponder on is vitamin D deficiency. We often tend to miss out on this very important vitamin. It is essential not just for the bone, but also for efficient functioning of our immune system, hormones, and the gut microbiome too, that we saw, the probiotics mainly. Studies have shown that vitamin D helps improve the good gut flora, which in turn helps with, your immunity. But due to our current lifestyle habits, like being indoors or in the AC most of the times, we tend to be low on this crucial vitamin. Exposure to morning sunlight for about 30 to 45 minutes would help to some extent. However, the best way to keep up with the levels would be through supplementation, but only after knowing your vitamin D level through a simple blood test and then check the right dose for you with the doctor. The next, gut issue, which is linked to susceptibility to cancer, is leaky gut syndrome. Now, leaky gut, wherein the gut lining permeability is affected. To understand it better, let us think of the gut lining like a fish net made of thin mesh. Okay. Now, under normal circumstances, this mesh allows for easy exchange of nutrients, enzymes, hormones, from the gut into the bloodstream. It also prevents certain disease-causing bacteria and toxins from entering the bloodstream. But certain factors can damage this net by increasing the space between the mesh, thus allowing even bigger protein or undigested food particles to cross the gut barrier and enter the bloodstream. Now, for our body, these substances are foreign, and hence, as a normal process for our immune system, it leads to, an attack from our immune system. It elicits an immune response, which in turn increases inflammation in the body. Now, if this, continues to happen for a prolonged time without being treated, it can lead to chronic inflammation. The bigger the spaces between the gut net, the higher the chances of inflammation. When there is leaky gut, it cannot produce enough digestive enzymes as well, which can further affect the digestive health. It can cause, nutrient malabsorption and deficiencies, and therefore lead to a weaker immune system as well. Also, these foreign particles and bacteria that enter our bloodstream, they can also affect our DNA and basically affect at the gene level too. All of these factors, can ultimately pose a higher risk for something like cancer. Not just the cancers which are related to the digestive system, like colon and gastric cancer, but also other cancers like lung, liver, or even, lymph node cancers too. Hence, we really need to fix a leaky gut as soon as possible. The symptoms could be constant bloating, constipation, diarrhea, burning sensation in the gut, indigestion, allergies, food insensitivities, and so on. Factors that can lead to a leaky gut are mainly unhealthy food choices, like having too much of junk food, processed food again, refined white sugar, also casein protein from dairy, and gluten from wheat and wheat products. They can also increase inflammation in the gut. Even certain unhealthy lifestyle habits like chronic sleep deprivation, deep-rooted emotional stress can also increase inflammation of the gut lining. Hence, we need to be aware of the same and work towards healing it as soon as possible. The next issue is, having chronic deep-rooted emotional stress. Now, how is that connected to, your gut health and cancer? Have you ever noticed when we are under stress or anxious, we tend to get these, stomach cramps or butterflies in the stomach, right? Why is that so? How can a thought in our mind have an impact on our gut? That's because our brain and the gut have a direct connect. There is this vagus nerve, which is a part of the gut brain axis, leading to direct communication between the brain and gut. Now imagine if we are undergoing severe emotional turmoil, stress chronically, like emotions of resentment, guilt, or extreme anger, which is suppressed for many years, or having an ugly relationship, or, and if we are internalizing and suppressing such emotions chronically, that can have a huge impact on our gut health and, our digestive health, basically. And if gut health is compromised, there is chronic inflammation and the nutrient absorption is affected too, which also can lead to a weakened immune system. All of which can increase the risk of conditions like cancer as well. We all have some or the other stressors in our life, but we need to find the right way to channelize these negative emotions and let it not affect our system. In fact, there are many techniques to stimulate the vagus nerve, like, meditation, pranayama, positive affirmations, visualization, singing, chanting to create those positive vibrations, all of which have helped, in fact, a lot of our clients in dealing with stress and its effects on the gut in a better way. You all can definitely give it a try too. The other factor is as simple as lack of water intake. It is such a simple and important nutrient in itself, but often neglected as well. It is an extremely crucial nutrient not just for gut health and keeping the bowels clean, but to also keep up with one's immunity. It is important for the nutrients to reach each and every cell of our body. It acts as a medium to for the nutrients to reach each and every cell of the body and also to flush out the toxins from our body. It is thus very essential to keep yourself well hydrated. You may want to keep up with an average of 2.5 to 3 liters of water and healthy fluid intake through the day. But of course, people with kidney issues or specific water restrictions need to abide by their specific instructions. The next factor to consider for gut health is and cancer is lack of physical activity. The equation with gut health is very simple. The more you move, the more your gut will move too. But if we stay sedentary, it will affect the functioning of gut health and of the digestion, absorption, assimilation of nutrients for sure, which in turn will affect immunity. Hence, it is very important to stay active and keep up with movement. Now, one may say that, I work out for 30 minutes in the day and rest of the day I'm sedentary. That's not being active. Along with 30 minutes of workout, you need to move at regular intervals through the day to keep up with blood circulation. It could be taking a few steps every hour in the day as well. On an average, we can gradually aim for about 8 to 10,000 steps a day, but of course, there are exceptions. So you see, it is so important to have a healthy gut, not just merely for better digestion of food and nutrients, but also to keep up with immunity, keep a check on inflammation, and so on, which, if not kept under check, can be a contributing factor to something like cancer. Hence, if you have any of the gut issues we discussed today, please do not neglect it. It is always better to fix it at the right time because prevention is always better than cure, right? In case of any queries related to this topic or to know more about our cancer care programs, do visit the lucurino.com website. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.